What's up, YouTube? Doomlink here. We're back with another modern video. Over the past couple of days, I've been trying to record as much Modern Horizons 2 content as possible because the set is finally out after all this time that we've been waiting, and I am really happy to bring you some more Modern Horizons 2 content. As always, if you enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of this deck. What have you liked about Modern Horizons 2 so far? What haven't you liked? What's been the standouts for you? Yeah, and with that, let's go ahead and dive right into this deck. So, there's a lot going on here. Let's go ahead and start out with that. Let's go ahead and go over the new Modern Horizons 2 cards, probably the two most impactful in this particular deck. Fair warning, I'm not going to try to pronounce this throughout the course of the video. I'm going to be calling it Asmo, and it is what it is. You know, we're going to call this Asmo. I'm not going to try. That's it. So Asmo is a card, as you can see, it doesn't have a mana cost, so you can't just normally cast it. There's restrictions. So the only way that you can cast it is if you've discarded a spell. You can pay hybrid black-red. So 1 mana 3/3, assuming that you can fulfill the requirements of discarding a card. Excuse me. When it comes into play, you search for a card called the Underworld Cookbook, put it into your hand. This is the Underworld Cookbook. 1 mana artifact, tap, discard a card. That means you don't have to pay mana to discard the card, so it's unconditional discard. You don't have to pay additional mana once you've invested the 1 mana up front for the card. That's all you have to pay. Discard a card, make a food. 4 tap, sack, return a creature from your graveyard to the hand. That comes up from time to time, but not really the real reason you're playing the card. So, this comes into play, 1 mana 3/3, you get the Cookbook. Now, the third ability, which is, I think, when I first saw this card, obviously it has a ridiculously long name, and I thought it was just a joke, to be completely honest with you. I didn't really think much of the card. I kind of just saw the name, laughed at it, and yeah. But anyways, but I think what I missed on this ability is how often on this card, how often the third ability comes up. Sacrifice 2 foods, target creature deals 6 damage to itself, which means that once you've activated this twice, so once you've discarded 2 cards off of this, which, to be completely honest with you, you have a bunch of cards that you want to discard anyways. Basking Root Walla, Vengevine, Bartered Cow, Feasting Troll King, excess lands. You have a lot of just random stuff that you can discard to it. So once you make 2 foods off of this, you now, not only did you get a discounted 1 mana 3/3, right, which is already a really good rate. 1 mana for a 3/3, hard to come by. And also, when you've cast your 1 mana 3/3, you've searched for one of your engine cards. You know, one of the cards that makes your deck tick. So not only do you get a discounted 1 mana 3/3, right? So good rate. You get to search for another engine card, and on top of all of that, it just kills target creature for very low cost, at the cost of 2 cards off of this, which again, you can just use this to discard cards that would other generate value when you discard them anyways. So it's basically all free upside for a 1 mana 3/3 that just gets to terminate things throughout the course of the game. I played a game on my Twitch stream, I think it was last night when we played. Twitch stream will be in the link in the description below to the Twitch stream if you want to go check that out, drop a follow. But I played a game on stream last night where in this one single game, I killed a Primeval Titan and a Dryad of the Elysian Grove, just on my 1 mana 3/3 that also just happened to kill a 3 mana card and a 6 mana card, no big deal. And then I played a game against Niv where I had a couple extra food left over, drew this, cast it, killed a Niv and an Omnath in the same turn. And it's just like, for what you get for a 1 mana card is, I think, to be completely honest with you, I think this might end up being the best card in the set. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I really do think the more I play with this card, the more I kind of understand how pushed it is. And this might not be the best shell to take advantage of it, but there's something here, and we're going to work towards it, and we're going to keep trying to jam these 2 cards together. And I predict, might be a bold prediction, I predict that there will be a version of this deck. I don't know if it's going to be this exact shell, but I guarantee we will have 4 Asmos, 4 Cookbooks. I think that there will be a version of this deck that could potentially get a card banned by the end of the year. I think the early shells seem good enough, and we've barely scratched the surface. A month of tuning on this and people jamming deck lists and figuring out the right configurations, I think we might have a monster in our hands. Now, again, I don't think this exact 75 is quite there yet, but we have some things going on for us. So that's kind of the engine of the deck. And the rest of our deck, we have some other cards here. Not only do we have cookbooks as discard outlets, but we also have these 11 cards. Goblin Lore, draw 4, discard 3 at random. Burning Inquiry, each player draws 3, discards 3 at random. So you kind of have these typical, the cards that you would have normally seen back when Hollow One was a big thing in Modern, before Faithful Suiting got banned. These cards played alongside Hollow One very nicely. They're obviously high variance, they're random discards, but if you cast it and keep the Hollow One in your hand, you have now fulfilled the requirements of discarding 3 cards, which means you can play Hollow One for free. Insolent Neonate is probably the weakest of the discard outlets, but the reason we're playing it here is it is a discard outlet that doesn't require additional mana, so you pay the 1 cost up front, and you don't have to pay additional mana to discard. It's not random discard, and the one thing that's nice about it is a 1 mana creature to get back Vengevine, so you can set up situations where you go play Neonate, discard a Vengevine, draw a card, play another creature, get the Vengevine back immediately, do stuff like that. And then we have, again, the aforementioned Vengevines and Hollow Ones, which are a big part of the reason why you would want to discard a bunch of cards. You would want to put Vengevines in your graveyard, fulfill the discard requirements for Hollow One, so these kind of go hand in hand, at least in my opinion. I've seen versions of this deck, people saying they don't like Vengevine, and I feel like if this deck is good, it has to involve Vengevine, because some of your nut draws, like, you just get to put two Vengevines into play on turn 1 or 2, and most decks just can't beat that. And then a new addition is Blazing Rootwalla, which is a kind of a throwback to the old card Basking Rootwalla, which is essentially just a 1-mana 1/1. You can pump it for a red mana, activate only once each turn. Madness 0. So if you discard it to either Cookbook, Neonate, Inquiry, or Goblin Lore, you can play it for free. And the really nice thing about that is once you've discarded it, it fulfills the requirements for Vengevine, right? So imagine a scenario where you cast a Burning Inquiry and you discard a Vengevine and 2 Blazing Rootwallas. I know that's like best possible scenario. But in that scenario, the Vengevine's in your graveyard, you cast the Rootwalla, you get back the Vengevine. So being a 0 mana card that gives you value when you discard it, and also a free card that triggers Vengevine, definitely a huge upgrade for decks like this. And then the last sort of quote-unquote normal card in our deck, Street Wraith. I think Street Wraith doesn't offer a ton here. It is really the only thing that Street Wraith is doing. Well, it's doing sort of 2 things, right? It's a 0 mana discard outlet that makes it so you need to discard 1 less card for your Hollow One, and that's cool. A lot of the Hollow One decks in the past did play for Street Wraith. But I think the reason that you want to be playing Street Wraith for the most part is because turn 1 cycle Street Wraith is the only thing that enables Asmo on turn 1, right? All of your other discard outlets need mana up front. Street Wraith is the only one that does it for free, right? You just don't have to pay any mana. You just cycle the Street Wraith, then you can immediately fulfill the requirements for Asmo on turn 1 to sort of get your engine going. So if you're going to play a deck with Asmo, I think in order to fully maximize the potential of that card, you do have to be playing 4 Street Wraith. So that's why we're including that. So this looks like a pretty normal deck, right? There's a lot of reasons, a lot of reasons for cards that we're playing. Asmos, discard outlets, Hollow Ones, Vengevines, stuff like that. Now we get into the weird stuff. So I did play a couple early versions of this, and I will say I got this list from somebody on Twitter. I don't remember exactly who it was, but they had these 2 cards, and I don't really know what to say. But we're going to try. I played this list on stream, a couple different versions. But basically, what we're doing here, we have Bartered Cow. So it's a white card. We don't have any white mana. So you're like, what the heck's that doing in our deck? Well, when you discard it, it says when it dies, or when you discard it, you make a food. Pretty innocuous card, right? So you're, okay, well, get some more value to when you discard it to either Lore, Inquiry, Neonate, or Cookbook. You get some more food. That's kind of cool. Well, the nice thing that food does is, for example, if you play Cookbook, you discard Cow, right? Normally you'd need to discard 2 cards to be able to get 2 food to be able to turn on Asmo, But if you discard cow, that fulfills the 2 food requirements. You can just immediately kill something with Asmo. Really good with Asmo. Another reason why we want to make a bunch of food is because we have this card, which some people have dubbed the new, or Hogak 2.0. I don't think we're quite on that level yet, but Feasting Troll King, we're never casting this bad boy. The one part line of text you want to remember is the third one that says, sacrifice 3 foods, return Feasting Troll King from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only during your turn. So imagine a scenario where you go, turn 1, Underworld Cookbook, right? You activate it immediately because you don't need to pay mana to activate the Cookbook. Discard Feasting Troll King. You have a food. Untap. Tap your Cookbook again. Discard Bartered Cow. Get a food off the Cookbook, a food off the Bartered Cow. You now have 3 food in play to sacrifice to bring back Feasting Troll King on turn 2. So you can turn 2 put a 7/6 Vigilance Trample into play. I'm waiting for it. That's the punchline. That's all I got. So that's why we're playing Feasting Troll King, and we're kind of going a little bit deep with Bartered Cow. I don't know if this is the direction where the deck wants to go, but I do... and I think part of that is because you're making yourself a lot worse against Graveyard Hate. Previous versions of this that I played had Flameblade Adept, which is a 1-mana 1/2 menace. Whenever you discard a card, give it +1/+0. Very powerful with things like Goblin Lore and Burning Inquiry to sort of mitigate the drawback of random discard. So you might feel like be in a situation where you're like, okay, well, I've cast my Burning Inquiry and I've discarded a Hollow 1 or 2. Well, I don't, now we don't really go anywhere from here. But you're mitigating that by Flameblade Adept being able to hit your opponent for 4 or 5 damage. You don't care too much. I mean, obviously it's annoying, but you care a little bit less that you've discarded those cards because you're getting something out of it with the Adept. And it was another way to sidestep Graveyard Hate. You know, if your opponent leads on Leyline of the Void and you play a Flameblade Adept, your Leyline is not doing a ton if your Flameblade Adept stays in play because you're still hitting them for 4 or 5 a turn, depending on how many cards you can discard. But without that, we're making ourselves weaker to Graveyard Hate because, again, we can't do anything with Troll King without the access to our graveyard. So, maybe not the direction this deck wants to go, but it is very high upside, and it's something I want to try out. And then mana base, we got some fetches, some mountains, some shocklands, some Carpal Gorges, nothing of note there. And then the sideboard, pretty basic stuff. 4 Blood Moon for your big mana decks, 4 Leyline of the Void for a deck that's been popping up a lot recently with the addition of Modern Horizons 2, which is Living End, thanks to the addition of Shardless Agent to the format. So Leyline, I think, is in a good spot right now. And then we have some Artifact/Enchantment Hate with 2 Ingot Chewer, 2 Foundation Breaker, 1 Ancient Grudge. The reason we're doing a bit of a split there, I think Foundation Breaker covers the widest range of things, but it is also the most mana, right? Ingot Chewer versus Breaker. Breaker kills artifacts or enchantments. For those of you who don't know, this is a newer card. I should expand it for you. It's Evoke. You're never casting it for the 4 mana half, but Evoke, 2 mana, 2 mana, destroy target artifact or enchantment. The reason we're playing this over something like Naturalize is because it's a creature for Vengevine. And again, this covers the widest range of Graveyard Hate. Like, it covers Leyline, it covers Grafdigger's Cage, it covers Tormod's Crypt, Soulguide Lantern. So it rest in peace. So it covers more things than just the artifact destruction like Ingot Chewer does. But the reason we're not playing more copies is because it's 2 mana versus 3. So I decided to go with a split of 2 Breaker, 2 Chewer, 1 Grudge, because for decks that don't have specifically Leyline or Cage, Grudge is really good. Like against Eldrazi-tron, they have it Snaring Bridge and a Cold Karn, the Great Creator package. So Ancient Grudge has some upside as a 1-of over something like a 3rd Ingot Chewer. So I decided to go with a little split there. And then to round out the sideboard, 1 Lightning Axe and 1 Knot of the Bone. Lightning Axe, just a card that you can bring in if your opponent has some early creatures. And then Knot of the Bone, ridiculous card against Burn. The one thing I noticed, I played Burn a lot when I was playing this deck. I played the matchup a couple times. And once you, it feels like their deck is just so soft. The turn 1 Cookbook, make a food, sack a food, sack a food. You just sack a food every turn, you know? So the Burn matchup has felt pretty good. So I'm not even sure we need the Gnaw, but it's a little insurance policy. And with that, I will, that'll be it for the intro. Again, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you back in just a little bit for round number 1. Alrighty, YouTube, we're back here for round number 1. What do we have here? We have turn 1, Cycle Street Wraith, Asmo, and then we can get the Cookbook, and then discard the cows. Yeah, this hand's pretty good. What I would like to draw is a way to discard multiple cards for the Hollow one. I'm saying big fan, I'll say good luck. Yeah, way to discard multiple cards for the hollow one would be nice. But, yeah, I don't think you're ever supposed to mulligan a hand that has turn 1 Asmo. So, we'll see how this plays out. Unclaimed territory on human. I don't know if this matchup's good or not. Okay, start with this. Not the best draw, but the really nice thing about Asmo is, especially now that we have the cow, like, we can just kill all of their creatures. With every activation of Cookbook discard cow, we get to kill a creature with this because we get 2 food. So we can kind of just mow down all their stuff. So I imagine this matchup is probably favorable, actually, now that I think about it. Unless they have exactly Freebooter, that would be bad for us. Oh, they have Meddling Mage. Okay, that one's pretty bad, too. We actually don't have a way to remove it. Well, take back everything I said. And now our hand literally does nothing. Do I even want to play this out? Like, I don't even know what my out is. Because it starts by drawing a Goblin Laura, Birding Inquiry. Fun Police over here. I'm trying to think if I want to cast the Root Wall or not. I don't really think it accomplishes much. Do I want to cycle the hollow one? No, because I think my plan involves putting this into play after drawing a Lurid Inquiry, so I think I'm just going to chill. Kind of sucks, but if they didn't have this exact card, I probably win this game, you know, very, very easily, but that is a card in their deck. The one card, as they say. Imperial Recruiter. Is that going to find a lieutenant? Probably. I would assume so. It's unfortunate we only have 1 copy of Lightning Axe in our deck. But imagine this game we run the play. If I was in the play, then this game is, you know, there's no possible way they ever win this game. But being on the draw and them having the Meddling Mage on turn 2, a little unfortunate. It is what it is. They're gonna draw step freebooter me. Okay, I'm out of here. Next game. Let's go Lightning Axe. Wish we had more copies of that card. I could bring in some number of ways to destroy Aether Vial, but I don't really know if that's where I want to be. So I think I'm just gonna trim on Goblin Lore because it's worse against Thalia, and I don't really have anything else. I could bring in Gnaw to the Bone, but their deck deals damage in such large chunks compared to something like Burn that I don't really think this is where I want to be. It's possible I want to bring in some number of this stuff in case they have graveyard hate such as Grafdigger's Cage. But yeah, I don't really think I want that. This hand does not do anything. This hand does not have any lands. Okay. This hand maybe does something. Definitely gonna high roll. I'm gonna put back these 2 and just jam Inquiry on turn 1. I should play Cookbook first. It's probably more important to play Cookbook first here, just because it's by far and away the best card. Oh, this is what am I saying? This hand's just a turn 2 Troll King. I'm very dumb. I don't know what I was thinking. I just can't even. I can't do math apparently. Okay, well, this hand is a turn 2 Troll King. Never mind, this is the best possible. And we get to play an Asmo too. Okay, I think I'm ready to call this game. I think I'm ready to call this game. Because now, we can just kill whatever they play next. They could Reflector Mage this, but we can also just discard it again to the Cookbook, so it's not even really that good. Okay, never mind. Well, we mulled to 5 and had a turn 2 Troll King and an Asmo, so we did the thing. What's this? Kite Sail Freebooter. Fine card, but nowhere near close to good enough. I wonder if I want to offer the trade of Asmo for Freebooter, get back. Oh, they took Inquiry. That's interesting. No, I'm just going to attack for 7. I don't even think I want to trade the Asmo. Because I'm thinking I'm just going to play the Cookbook here, and if they have Reflector Mage, which they kind of need... Oh, I meant to click on the Cookbook. Well, that's awkward. I was going to say, if they have Reflector Mage... I swear I clicked on the Cookbook. I don't know if maybe I just moved my mouse at the wrong time. But yeah, Reflector Mage just doesn't do anything here. I can just discard the Troll King, so... Actually, doesn't really have text. Mantis Rider is fine. Does not have Sneaky Reach. I'm not going to discard the Cookbook. Would have been a lot better if I'd played the right creature that turn, but... Drew a cow. So I can discard the cow to this. Get a food. And then I can discard whatever I draw to the Cookbook. I'm trying to think if there's a reason to do it main phase. Or I could just discard the cow to the Cookbook and do that. I don't want to offer the trade, though. I'm just going to attack for 7. And just leave up my stuff. Just don't really think there's a way out of this for them. Because even if they put some pressure on, I can just, you know... Oh, are they going to double block? Oh, no, opponent. Well, I guess they only get punished against exactly cow, but now the game's, like, actually over. Yeah, this is disgusting. Asmo is obscene. Alright, and I get to play the backup Cookbook, just in case. They're at 9, we have a 7-6 trample, a 3-3, they have a 1-2. I think we're going to game 3. Alright. So, Mold to 5 had the best possible. Easy life. We'll run it back. But that is the power of the cow. That is the power of the cow. The more I play this deck, the more I wonder if this deck really wants to be a Vengevine deck. But again, as I said in the intro, it is part of your most busted draws. But, I don't know, maybe that's not true when you have Troll King. Maybe Troll King is your actual best possible draw. Well, this is definitely a high roll hand, but definitely going to keep it. And we're going to high roll. See what happens. Yep, still high rolling. Let's see what we get. Spin the wheel. Both Vengevines still in hand, but we did keep the hollow one, so I can't be that upset about it. We got a Containment Priest out of them. But now our hand kind of doesn't do anything, so here we are. Let's hope their hand doesn't do anything. We've got 3 spells, which is a good thing, for sure. It's better than getting lands. Ooh, I like that. That's cool. Tradesies. One card deeper, huh? One card deeper. Do I want to trade? I guess I do. Because even if I draw... I guess if I draw Asmo, I can go... Like, I'm not going to cycle Hollow One this turn in case I draw Asmo. Then I can cycle Hollow One, play Asmo, get Cookbook. And then I'm still a little ways away from killing this. Yeah, I'll just attack. I think it's fine. It's not a great trade, but I feel like it's a trade that's going to happen because I'm so far away, even if I find Asmo. You know? Because obviously Asmo can kill this, but... And I don't want to cycle to try and save it for Asmo. Okay, that doesn't do anything. Maybe I should be cycling the Hollow One, though. Oh, no. Cycling, it gets me closer to a Goblin Lore or an Inquiry. It's worse if I draw Asmo, though. The more I think about it, I think there's a lot more draws in my deck that makes cycling now better. Okay. Okay. I think I should still be racing here. They have 4 cards. Yeah, racing is also good because I can gain life off the food if I need to do that. I have a Troll King, so there's a good chance I don't want to sack food, but I think racing is fine, because if I get into a spot where I need to start sacking food, I have the cookbook in play to do so. And pass. And step will discard a Vengevine, start the food train. Well, hopefully they don't have a second Containment Priest, because we have Troll King and 2 Vengevines that we potentially want to get back. So that would kind of suck. Thalia's Lieutenant. Okay, does not pump the hollow one, so we take 6 and go to 8. It's not that threatening. I assume they're still racing here. Yeah, okay. What's our best draw? Probably Rootwalla. Yeah, because Rootwalla will let us double Vengevine. There it is. Oh no, it's only single Vengevine. Well, that's still fine, right? Discard Rootwalla, cast Hollow one for 3 mana. Yeah. And then shove, probably with both. Because then we have 2 blockers. Yeah, I think shoving with both is good with 2 blockers back. You can always just chump block their Hollow one. Yeah, the next turn we can get back the Troll King. Even if they have Reflector Mage, we can still block here and take 4, which is fine. They have Mantis Rider. We go block, block, take 5. Also fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was a sweet match. We kind of, I guess, like, we sort of bricked on the Inquiry, but we were able to kind of get one of their best cards. Although the Priest wouldn't have done a ton this game because we had 2 Hollow ones. It would have stopped the Vengevine from coming back, but nonetheless, sweet match. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 2. Alrighty, guys, back here for round number 2. What does this hand do? This hand has a lot of potential. We go Cycle Street Wraith, Neonate, discard Vengevine. If we find... This hand is insane if we find an Asmo or a Cookbook. Or even a second Neonate. Because we can just go Neonate on turn 1, pass. Yeah, this hand has a lot of upside. I'm gonna keep it. There's definitely a possibility that this hand just doesn't do anything, but I think given how much upside it has, it's worth keeping. There's just a lot of good draws with this hand. A lot of bad draws, but Breeding Pool, go. So this looks like the Living End cycling deck, if I had to guess. Hollow 1. This is awkward. How do I want to play this game? Because what I could do is just play Neonate and pass. If I cycle Street Wraith, the only thing I could possibly draw to cast Hollow one is a second Street Wraith. Because if I draw a Neonate, I don't have mana to cast both. And I have to go land, Neonate, discard, then Hollow one costs 1 mana. So I think that I would much rather just play Neonate and pass. Also, if they are Living End, what I might do is just play this a little slow and get into a situation where I bait them to cast a Living End, and maybe I respond, sack this, discard Troll King, cycle Street Wraith, and then their Living End is actually backfires because I get, you know, a bunch of creatures in play. I could even cycle a Hollow one maybe. Yeah, so I think we're gonna play this game a little strangely. We're not just gonna jam all in. Second Troll King. So what I could do is I could cycle Street Wraith, sack Neonate, discard Vengevine, cast Hollow one, get back Vengevine, attack for 4. But then if they just cast Living End, I have nothing left. I get a Street Wraith and a Neonate. The issue is, if I don't do anything... Well, they just probably don't cast HOLLOWVINE. They probably just don't cast Living End then, right? They just wait. This is really tough. I think what I want to do... Cycle Street Wraith and see where we're at. Okay. So now... Maybe I go sack this, discard Troll King. Play 2 hollow ones. And then if they cast Living End, I get back Troll King, Street Wraith, Neonate. And then I can Neonate, discard the Vengevine. Yeah, let's do that. I like that. So discard Troll King. We're not going to get back the Troll King. I don't want to discard Vengevine, because, yeah, if I can put Vengevine into play, but then they just have a much better... Oh, actually, let's just do that. That's way better. Right, because now I have the potential of discarding more Troll Kings, which makes their Living End even worse. Yeah, that was actually a really good draw. Obviously, I could discard the hollow ones, but if we're planning on them casting Living End next turn, I don't really care if I discard the hollow ones, you know? Yeah, see, this is perfect. Because now we get to put a bunch of stuff into play. The question is, do I cast the second hollow one? Yeah, I think I still do. Like, it makes their Living End better, but their Living End is still so bad for them. Because look at all the stuff we get. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures back. And they're only going to get max 3 because they can cycle 2 this turn. And we even have Asmo to start killing their stuff, right? Because we get a cookbook off of this, and we have a second cookbook in our hand. So this is just, like, an absolute beating. Yeah, and they just, like, what are they going to do? Cast Living End? Just lose? Yeah, this matchup seems really good for us. More than I think about it. Like, that now they're just in an awful spot. If they cast Living End, they die. If they don't cast Living End, they die. Drew a Neonate. Can I get back Vengevines? Yeah, I can. I can go Neonate, discard Vengevine. So let's go Neonate. Discard Vengevine. Asmo. And I want to attack them for 12. And the sick part about this is we're going to have 2 food in play. So, which means we have a couple of options. We can Asmo our own creature in response to a Living End. Or we can just kill their stuff, you know. That works too. We're also going to get 2 Troll Kings back now. Like, how do they win? They go to 6 here. And then, again, they have to cast Living End or they die. And then if they cast Living End, I get 2 Troll Kings, a Street Wraith, an Asmo, a Cow, and a Neonate. It's just like, yeah, they just can't possibly win. Okay, that's cool. I am still going to bring in Leyline because it just makes it even more impossible for them to win. I think that's it. I guess sometimes they have their own ley lines, so maybe I want answers for theirs. They don't usually have Artifact Hate, so I don't really think I need the Chewers or the Grudge. The Axe is bad, Gnaw is bad. So this is 6 cards that we're looking at bringing in. I really like the random discard. Honestly, I think the hollow ones might just be bad. Like, hollow ones and Vengevines are kind of our worst plan in this matchup. Because it requires us to put a bunch of stuff into play, and then once we put that stuff into play, it's very easy for them to just cast Living End, right? But... Maybe I cut... I don't know, it's tough. Maybe I cut, like, 2 of each of these. Street Wraith is really good. You can also trim on Cow. Like 1 Cow, 1 Troll King. No, the thing about Troll King is it's like our best possible thing to get back. Maybe I'll shave a Lore because it's slow and they have Force of Negation. Alright, let's do this. It's kind kind of some weird sideboarding, like bringing up 2 hollow ones, 2 Vengevines, but I do think that plan is worse than just discarding a threat in response to their living end, you know? Like, not flooding the board with a bunch of stuff into their living end. Just make it, like, get to a point where, like that game, for example, get to a point where it's awkward for them to cast the living end because we have a good board and a good graveyard. This hand is very good because it has Leyline, so I'm going to keep it. And I'm going to put back... Assuming they have their own Leyline, kind of want to put back Vengevine. Although it is, like... It's tough. It's our highest impact card. Maybe I actually just put back Inquiry. Okay, Leyline you, go. They do have Brazen Borrower in their deck, so it's not like they're cold to Leyline, but... Cookbook. Let's play that. Cookbook is probably the single best card in this matchup because it's, again, the thing that allows us to just discard willy-nilly to just make their living ends really bad. They also kept a 7-card hand that didn't have a cycler. I think I'm going to discard... Nothing? Yeah, let's just discard nothing for now. I don't really need to do it. Okay, let's do that. I guess that was a punish. Because... Well, it's not that bad, because I could just go Neonate, discard Vengevine, discard the Root Wallet to the Cookbook, smash for 4. Okay, that's fine. Discard this. Cast Root Walla. Get back Vengevine. And the question is, do I play Asmo for a second Cookbook? The only reason I wouldn't want to play Asmo is if they have the living end. Let's attack first and see if they kill the Vengevine, or I guess bounce the Vengevine. If they have a bounce spell, they probably have to bounce the Leyline, right? The thing is, because I have Leyline in play, I don't really care if they cast Living End next turn. Like, it's annoying, but I'm getting a card back out of this anyways, so I think it's fine. Like, yeah, it's annoying, but we still have 4 power in play. We have a creature here. If we draw any creature, we can just re-Vengevine them. It's not that bad. I kind of figured that was going to happen. I kind of assumed that that was a card they had to play this turn or else they had no shot. But now they're in a spot where they like almost have to cast Living End, right? I guess they have a Street Wraith now, which is a thing. Looks like they're not casting Living End because they're casting a spell before... Oh, no, never mind. Okay, so I am definitely just going to attacks first. Let's see what they do, because I assume they have to cast Living End now. The nice thing about them waiting... Apologize for the noise out there. I mean, I guess I'll make it a lethal attack. So this is a cool thing about them actually waiting, which I think they got punished for, is I can actually make a food and kill my own Asmo in response to get it back off the Living End. So I think they missed sequence. I think they were supposed to cast their Cascade spell on their turn. They're choosing to bounce the Vengevine. Okay, they don't have Living End. Sure. Okay. So they're at 3. Alright, play Cookbook. I'm actually going to main phase the one of these food, so I don't get into a spot where if I like choose to end step the food, they respond and cast Living End, then I have to do a food again to kill my own Asmo. Stuff like that. But I do not see them winning this game. Because now if they cast Living End again, I just kill my own Asmo in response, end step, make a food, untap, make a food, kill their thing. I guess I need to draw a land to get back No, because I'm getting the Vengevine back off the living end, so yeah, I just don't think they can win. Okay, they should be dead. Alright, we'll kill our own Asmo. Get it back. Get another cookbook. We will end step, make a food, kill their blocker, attack with everything, and they're dead on board. As you can see, the strength of this deck relies around this card, and I've seen people playing less than 4 of this card, and I understand that Asmo tutors it, but it's just the card that you want in every opening hand. It's just the best card in your deck. Yeah, sure, I'll kill another creature, why not? It's free, might as well. Just to show you the raw power of Asmo. And how obscenely powerful this card is. Single-handedly won us this match. I mean, I guess, like, Leyland was good, but Leyland caused them to play off-curve a little bit. Someone asking where I could find the deck list, saying in the YouTube video coming out shortly. Asmo, again, I personally think that Asmo might be the best card in the set, so that is my opinion, and I am sticking to it. Got the GGs from our opponent, 2-0. Alright. Asmo takes down another victim. I will see you back in just a little bit for round number 3. Alrighty, YouTube, back here for round number 3. This hand has a lot of upside, so we have a couple of options. I mean, definitely going to keep it. But we can either turn 1 Street Wraith Asmo, or we can turn 1 Inquiry, spin the wheel, hopefully discard 2 Vengevines. I think because of how important the Cookbook is, especially now that we drew Troll King, I'm just going to play Asmo. Oh, yeah. Because Cookbook is the best card in our deck. They could have a discard spell for the Cookbook, which would be a little unfortunate, and it looks like they do. Oh, they have Fatal Push. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. If you resolve the Cookbook against control, I don't really see how they win. So let's see if they have Force of Negation. They do not. Now where do we go from here? I think I'm going to cast Burning Inquiry. That is the high roll play. If we hit some hollow ones and discard some Vengevines, so be it. If not, we can just end step, discard Cow, untap, discard Troll King, put Troll King into play. So let's do that. Let's do a little high roll action. We discarded a Cow. 2 Vengevines. But no hollow ones, so pass turn. So we can end step, discard Troll King. I guess the issue is now they can cast Kaya's Guile. Oh, they don't have a 3rd land. Okay, thank God. I was going to say, they usually play Kaya's Guile, but... yeah, let's just end step, discard Troll King. Hopefully we find a creature to be able to get back these Vengevines, because we have a creature here, but... Yeah, Kaya's Guile would have been pretty bad if they had a land. Thankfully, they didn't have a land, but... I kind of assume they probably have Guile in their hand. Because it's a card they usually play 4 of. Okay, well now they should be dead. With them missing a land drop here, I don't really see them coming back from this. So I can discard Vengevine, cast Rootwalla, get back 3 Vines and the Troll King. That's a reasonable turn 3. Just 20 power turn 3, no big deal. Alright, against Esper Control. So, Kaya's Guile is an issue. And I think for that reason, I probably want to bring in Blood Moon. Because their deck doesn't have a lot of basic lands, and there's a chance that they might not play around it. And I think the weakest card in my deck is Burning Inquiry, because it is the one card that puts me down on cards. See, at least Goblin Lore, you draw 4, discard 3, right? So you're down a card, you draw 4, discard 3, you're up a card. So you're even on cards. Burning Inquiry is draw 3, discard 3, but you're down a card, right? And I think the random... Obviously, the randomness of it is bad, too. It's kind of cool that you can, like, randomly snipe some of their stuff, but... and I think I'm also down to shave a Troll King because of the presence of Kaya's Guile, and just bring in 4 Blood Moon. They usually don't have permanent base graveyard disruption. It's usually just Kaya's Guile. So yeah, let's try this. See how it goes. Alright, what does this hand do? This hand is a turn 2 Troll King. Okay. We'll try it. The reason I like a hand like this so much is because we get to put something into play under their Kaya's Guile. So even if they have Kaya's Guile and 3 mana, we get to put the Troll King into play before they have the opportunity to put Kaya's Guile on the stack. So that's why I like this hand so much. Sucks if they have Force Negation, which it doesn't look like they do, so that's good. Alright, discard Troll King. Zap, excuse me. Cycle this first. Actually, let's fetch first, because I want to thin my deck and try and thin my deck of a land, because I want to really draw a hollow one this turn. Cycle this. Play Cookbook. Discard Root Wallas. I guess I could save the Root Wallas in case I draw a Vengevine. But it does put some pressure in play, which is the nice thing, so I think I'm just going to go all in. You could have something like Path to Exile on the Feasting Troll King, which would kind of suck, but... I need to do this now before they can Kaya's Guile. And it's not... You can only do this on your turn, the ability. Sacrifice 3 foods, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield, activate only during your turn. So you can't do it on... Remember, you can't do that on your opponent's turn. But if they have a general removal spell, something like, you know, like an Edict or a Supreme Verdict, we have the Bartered Cow to get 2 food back. So we can easily re-up on the cow, or on the Troll King. So we're just going to shove with everything, pump the Root Wallas. They likely... I mean, I assume they have a Path to Exile here, because I don't really see them winning without a Path to Exile. Okay, they just took 13. I guess they have Kaya's Guile and missed on land, but as you can see this game, turn 3 Kaya's Guile would not even have been close to good enough because we just put this into play on turn 2. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. We did the thing. We're 3-0. Feasting Troll King. Is it the new Hogak? Maybe. Stay tuned to find out. See if we can get the 5-0. See you back in just a little bit for round number 4. Alright, YouTube. Round 4 time. 3-0. This hand doesn't have a land, so I'm going to mulligan. So we can put back a land. Turn 1 Cookbook. Turn 2 Cookbook, discard Root Wall, and negate discard land, cast Hollow One. Okay. Keep it. It's on the lower side of keeps, but I think it is a fine hand. There's some upside. Some potential good draws. Our opponent is on 6. Alright, we're going to lead on Cookbook. Again, in case they have a discard spell, I need to get the Cookbook into play. It's the one card that I want to protect. Also, I'd rather save my creatures in case I draw Vengevine, because then I can go Neonate, discard Vengevine, Cookbook, discard Root Wall, I get back Vengevine. Okay. Let's see what we flip. A Goblin Lore. It's an interesting one. Take a draw step. The question is, do I want to cast the Goblin Lore? and high roll the hollow one. I think I'd rather just have a guaranteed hollow one. So I can go Neonate, discard Goblin Lore, Cookbook, discard Root Walla, play it, and then cast Hollow One. So what I should do is Neonate first in case I draw Vengevine, because then I can go Neonate, tap this, cast Neonate, discard Lore, draw Vengevine, tap Cookbook, discard Vengevine, play land. I guess cast Root Walla, get back Vengevine, but then I can't play the Hollow One. Oh, but I could just play the Hollow One instead of the Root Walla. Yeah, okay. So let's go Neonate first. Actually, let's get a land first within my deck. So Neonate first. Discard Goblin Lore. Did not draw Vengevine. Discard Root Walla. Play a Hollow One. Alright, here we go. Not the most exciting start against Burn, but also not the worst. Okay, they have an Eidolon, which doesn't matter too much. Street Wraith, which I think I'm happy to just make a food off of. I actually don't think there's a good reason to play my land either. Not yet, at least. So, attack for 4. Leave back the Root Walla to trade, I think. We could shove with both, which is better if they have Searing Blaze, because if I attack with this and leave back the Root Walla, it's worse if they have Blaze, because I don't get my 3 damage out of it. But I also don't want to pump, because I want to hold the land and crack food. So, yeah. Well, I guess in that point, maybe I should play the land so I can pump on the blocks and crack a food. Yeah, that's probably better. So let's attack with this, play a land pass. Bit of a dicey spot. I mean, the nice thing about this matchup is once you have Cookbook, you've just gained 3 life every turn. And sometimes that's just good enough. Wield a Bartered Cow. Alright, I will definitely block Goblin Guide. I want to keep the Eidolon in play. I don't really plan on casting many more spells this game. The thing is, even if they kill the Hollow One, I'm at parity with the Eidolon because I can gain 3 life a turn. So the Eidolon is more beneficial for me than it is for them, at least in my opinion. Flame Rift. Alright, crack a food. Discard Street Wraith. 13 to 10. Alright, I'll just make a food now to play around Skullcrack. And now they're at 6 with an Eidolon in play. And now they're at 4. So I think they are required to kill the Hollow One, but if they do, they can no longer cast a spell the rest of the game. They're going after me. That is a bold move. Okay. I was gonna say. Against Burn. I'll bring in the Gnaw, even though, again, I don't really think we need it because the matchup is so good. And the Axe, I guess? I was cutting Street Wraith against Burn, which I think is good. Maybe I bring in the Foundation Breaker because it's a way to kill Eidolon that doesn't trigger Eidolon. And I guess it also kills Rest in Peace if they have that, so I'll bring in the Breakers. They're kind of medium, but I think better than Street Wraith. You don't really want to pay 2 life to cycle in this matchup. I think you just have a natural advantage because you have Cookbook. And just it's so hard for Burn to just beat a food every turn. Like when Oko was legal, you didn't even have to attack, ever elk anything with Oko. You would just make a food every turn, and Burn just couldn't beat that. And it's kind of the same thing here. Alright, so what does this hand do? This hand has turn 1 Cookbook, discard Vengevine, untap, mana, Neonate, discard Vengevine, so we get 2 shots in a land and we can double Vengevine. High risk, high reward. I'll keep it. This hand also gets kind of blown up if they have turn 2 Smash on the Cookbook, but I think I'm willing to keep a hand like this. I revealed a Basking Root Walla. Does that change anything? Not really. I'm still going to play Cookbook. Although it makes it a little bit better if they have Smash, because now I can go... I don't have Smash. I was going to say I can go Cookbook, discard Vine, untap, They discard Root Wall, I guarantee at least one Vengevine, even if they have Smash. So we get to 11. There's a Burning Inquiry on top, which is not very good. Alright, so discard Vengevine. Really need to find a land here. So discard Vengevine to that. Gas Neonate. Neonate, discard Root Walla. Get back 2 Vengevines. Oh, the game has ended. Okay, what were we going to draw? Alright, we were not going to draw a land to put the Hollow One into play, but I guess they just couldn't beat 2 Vengevines. Or 4-0. That's pretty good. That's a good record to be after playing 4 matches. That means we haven't lost yet. Is this deck broken? Maybe. Again, I think that there is a shell here that is broken. But enough about that. Let's see if we can get the 5-0. I'll see you in just a little bit. Alright, YouTube. This is the match for all of the marbles. Well, we have a common theme here where we have Cookbook in every opening hand. This time we don't actually have anything to go with it, but if we draw a Hollow One or a Troll King, this hand is really good. And we're on the draw with 2 Street Wraiths, so I think I'm going to keep. Again, another high upside hand. But given that we have Cookbook, which is, I believe, the best card in the deck, in our opening hand, it's, you know, it's hard to mulligan a hand that has any hand that has Cookbook, to be honest with you. Because it just enables a lot of your more busted draws. Catacombs go. Okay. Now the question is, do we want to cycle now? So obviously if I cycle now, and I draw Hollow One next, like let's say I cycle both Wraiths, don't find Hollow One, then draw Hollow One for my draw step, it's a little awkward. But given that I have Cookbook and Neonate, I can still play Hollow One, so I should go for the high upside play here. Because I'm still going to be able to cast Hollow One next turn. Alright. Or we could just do the thing. So let's go Cookbook. And I think I'm going to discard... what am I discarding? Probably... I kind of want to save the Root Wall in case I find a Vengevine. So I can maybe discard the cow this turn, play Hollow One for free. Next turn, if I draw Vengevine, I can go Neonate, discard Vengevine, discard the Root Wall to the Cookbook. Yeah, I think I like that better. Because if I discard the Root Wall now, I don't necessarily have a second creature if I draw Vengevine. So I end up missing 3 damage, so maybe that's not worth it. Maybe it's just better to put 7 power into play this turn. Yeah, I mean, the other consideration is that it's very likely they have Fatal Push here. So, you know what? I'm just going to discard the cow, I think. I think it's fine. Again, higher upside if I draw Vengevine next turn, and it kind of blanks their, you know... I would assume this means a Fatal Push, but I guess it could mean a bunch of different things, but... Alright, turn 1, 4-4, your move. Doesn't get Fatal Pushed. Doesn't get bolted. Stomping Ground. A Jun strategy, perhaps? Could be a zoo deck. Appears to be a zoo deck. Or not. Ren and 6. Okay. Well, that's going to die. Oh, we drew the best card in our deck. How lucky. Well, I guess second best card, but... So, what do we want to do? Kill Ren, discard Root Walla, play Asmo... Play Cookbook? Yeah, it seems fine to me. I don't even know if I want to kill the Ren, but, I mean, it's kind of free. I don't know. I don't really know if I should kill the Ren there. I don't know how much the Ren matters, but given that I am casting a Root Wall, it probably matters enough. But now they just can't play any creatures until they kill Asmo. So, here we go. Yeah, this is disgusting, to say the least. I don't know why they thought this was an okay design. Like, my opponent literally cannot play a creature until they kill it. It's just so obscene. And we just have a 2-turn clock. This is reasonable, I would say. The funny thing is, we really didn't do the Troll King that much, you know? That was one thing I kind of was excited to see, because I've played iterations of this deck without Troll King and Bartered Cow, and I wanted to see how powerful the Troll King was. We didn't have it that often. Granted, when we did have it, you know, there were games where we mulled the 5 and put it into play on turn 2, and our opponent couldn't possibly win. So when we had it, it's good. We just haven't had it that often, you know? Which means I do think that there is something in that space, given that the Cookbook provides you food. It's just a natural progression, right? Cookbook discards the Troll King, provides you food to get the Troll King back. There is also another card that people in my Twitch chat have suggested, which is Oval Chase Daredevil, I think it is, which is 3 and a black for a 4/2. Whenever an artifact comes into play, you can return it from your graveyard to your hand. So the nice thing with Daredevil is you can discard it to Cookbook. It's in your graveyard, then you get the food, and then you get it immediately back. So if you have multiple Cookbooks, you can just, you know, make infinite food, go off with it a little bit there. So that's kind of a cool interaction. Are we firing off Goblin Lore? Kind of no reason not to. Do it pre-combat in case we somehow can put a Vengevine into play. It's not very likely, but like we'd have to get very lucky to put a Vengevine into play. But might as well do it pre-combat. I'm just gonna pump. Play a land. Playing the land kind of sucks with Cookbook, but we have enough food in play, and I feel like something's getting bolted this turn, so that's why I want to present more damage. I assume this is getting bolted. I'll just pass. Nope, just take 10. Just take 10 on the chin. Alright. Your move. Another Stomping Ground. I wonder if they're playing like a ramp strategy, like Primeval Titans or something like that. Who knows? Are they putting an Emrakul into play? That could be a little problematic. Oh no, they're just dead on board if they put Emrakul into play. I also don't know how they would put Emrakul into play, because they don't have a token for the Dwarven Mine. They could pillage HOLLOWVINE. But they're still dead on board. So, yeah, because we just kill the Bloodbraid Elf with Asmo. Reasonable. Magic card. Okay, so red, green. Oh, I guess they're just Ponza. What am I saying? Yeah, they're just Ponza. Do we want anything against Ponza? Sometimes they have Scavenging Ooze. That's like a card that could be good against me. I don't really think I want any of this stuff, though. Like, I don't know what their graveyard hate is usually. I think it's usually Relic. How much do I care about Relic? I guess I care a little bit about Relic. But Asmo and HOLLOWVINE still just kind of beat Relic face up. So it's not like I'm overly concerned with it. I think I might just do some very light minus a lore plus an axe, call it a day. I guess I could shave on Troll King if I'm worried about Relic. But to be fair, they literally can never beat a 7/6, so it's high upside. I think I'm just going to do this. Like, their deck cannot possibly beat a 7/6 early. Like, if I turn 2 a Troll King, that's it. That's it. We're done. They're never beating that. Alright, game 2. Again, 4-0 up a game. Let's see if we can get the elusive 5-0. With, again, what I believe to be the best card in the set. Everybody's talking about Vengevine and Vengevine this and Grief that, and everybody's forgetting about the little card that nobody can pronounce. I think that's why people aren't talking about it, is because they just don't know how to pronounce it. So that could be a reason as well. But as I hope that you've seen over the course of this league, if you've made it this far, the card is very, very powerful. it does a lot for a card that only costs 1 mana. Alright. What does this hand do? Cookbook, discard Troll King. We can cycle Street Wraith and try and find a cow. If we find a cow, we have turn 2 Troll King. Alright, I'm in. This hand could backfire. Actually, no, it really can't. Well, I mean, it could, but... Question is, do we cycle Street Wraith now? What are the upsides and downsides of cycling Street Wraith now? I don't think I want to play turn 1 Asmo, because they could just have a Lightning Bolt. So I think what I want to do is just play Cookbook, end step, discard Troll King, untap, discard land, play Asmo, second Cookbook, discard a thing, put Troll King into play. So that means... Well, actually, hold on a second. If that's my line, then there's no point in not cycling the Street Wraith, right? What benefit do I gain in waiting? I guess the benefit is... If I cycle Street Wraith now and play Cookbook, and let's say they have a 2-mana Shatter, then I don't necessarily have a discard lined up for my Asmo, so I should probably hold the Street Wraith. Because there's not a lot of upside in casting it, because even if I cycle it and draw Hollow One, I still can't Hollow One this turn. So I think it's better for me to just save it. And they don't have Relic, because they would have played Relic on turn 1. And even if they have something like a Scavenging Ooze this turn, I'm just going to put a Troll King and an Asmo into play. And have 2 Cookbooks and say, what's up, you know? Yeah, so they did have the Grudge. So I definitely am glad that I waited. We're not going to be able to put Troll King into play, which is a little awkward. Ooh. Well, I could have cycled the Straight Wraith there to try and find exactly Bartered Cow. But if I find Bartered Cow now, then it ends up being the same thing. Do they also have a Surgical? That would be bad. Okay, well, I didn't find a spell. It's kind of awkward here. Okay, less awkward. No, because I can't play the Hollow One. Because if I play Asmo and Cookbook, I'm going to have 2 foods in play, but they can just grudge the other Cookbook. And I'm only going to have 2 foods for the Feasting Troll King. And I can't play Hollow One, because I'm going to be 1 discard spell short. But I kind of have to play the Asmo, because if I don't play the Asmo now... Maybe I'll play Asmo and just don't play the Cookbook? Yeah, I guess that's okay. Just play Asmo and pass. Get the Cookbook, don't play it. Just hang on to it until I maybe find a cow. I don't want to play it into the Grudge when I only have 1 food in play. It just doesn't do anything. You know, like if I wait and draw a cow, then I can go Cookbook, discard cow, get back Troll King. It's much better for me if I do it that way. I just don't really gain anything by playing it now, and they just have the Grudge face up. The only thing I gain is stopping them from playing a 3-mana spell, but I don't know how relevant that is. Yeah, it's annoying. Kind of expected, but... Alright, so they have another Bolt, because they chose to shock there. And the only reason they would choose to do that... I mean, I guess they can just Grudge, but... Do I want to play the Cookbook before casting Inquiry? To be honest with you, I don't think I do, because they just have the Grudge anyways, so I'm just going to cast Burning Inquiry. Try and high roll the Hollow Ones. Didn't high roll the Hollow Ones, but high rolled basically everything else. So that's pretty good. So now we get to put a Troll King into play and an Asmo into play. And get a 3rd Cookbook. So even though they're going to grudge the Cookbook, I don't really care. Oh, they killed the food. I guess that makes sense, but... I'm not going to kill their Arbor Elf. I don't think it's worth it. I guess they have to kill the food because they know that they can't beat the Troll King, right? So I guess that makes sense. I'm not going to kill their Elf, though. So they can flashback Pyromancer, but that doesn't really do anything. I have, like, Utopia Sprawl here, maybe. I'm still gonna save the food for Troll King. I'm not gonna do that. I guess if, like, their last card is Scavenging Ooze, this is super awkward, because they get to eat the Troll King, but... Is their last card Bloodbraid Elf? Or are they just Seasoned Pyromancering? Okay, they're Pyromancering. That's fine. So they've killed 2 Asmos, which is a little unfortunate, but... Discard food. Get back Troll King. And I'm just going to put the other Cookbook into play and then just pass. I'm not going to use it. So they're going to get 2 1/1s. 2 1/1s does not beat a 7/6 Vigilance Trample, though. So they... I mean, they had some good resistance this game, but... I just don't really know how they beat a 7/6 on this low of resources. Well, I don't know how they beat a 7/6 ever, but okay, that's not going to do it. So they are empty-handed with 3 1/1s versus a 7/6 that basically can never die. So that's cool. Alright, 7 ya. I'm going to keep holding lands. No reason to play more lands. Might want to discard some stuff to Cookbook at some point. But I feel like we have this almost locked up. I guess the one card that they could draw is Karn, and that could be a reason to bring in more Artifact Hate, because that's like the one card that could get them out of this, because the Karn can get Bridge. But outside of Karn getting Bridge, I don't really see them getting out of this. And we drew another Asmo. Jeez. Might as well play it. It's kind of a free roll. I could have sacked a Cookbook to get back an Asmo. I could have played my land last turn to do that, but I didn't think it was worth it. Because... then I have to, not only do I have to lose the other Cookbook, but then I then have to play the land in my hand, which I don't necessarily want to do anyways. So I didn't think that was worth it. But, you know, maybe if they found a way out of the Troll King, I could have done that. But as is, I didn't think it was worth it. Because the thing about getting back Asmo is the only way they win this game is if they kill the Troll King, right? I guess outside of Karn. But in that scenario, there's no point in getting back the Asmo because I'm not going to be using food to sack to the Asmo. I'm just keeping the food in reserve to get back the Troll King if they somehow defeat it. I don't know how they would, but in any case, yeah. Easiest 5-0 of my life. We only lost 1 game to humans when we got Meddling Mage on the best card in our deck, which is Cookbook. Yeah, there's definitely something here. Let's go back to the deck real quick. So this is what we played. When you 5-0, it's really hard to say, you know, what changes I would make. I mean, I like everything. I like what's going on here. The only thing that's, like, kind of up in the air, the point of contention, is whether or not you want to play Vengevine. And I've seen lists without it. And I'm not quite sure what I would play instead. I feel like if you cut the Vengevines, the root walls do get a little bit worse. But it is nice to have just stuff to get value off of discarding to Cookbook and lore and that kind of thing, so... there might be a build, like, I think this kind of feels like a package deal to me, the Root Walls, Neonates, and Vengevines, because Vengevines, you want cheap creatures, this is 0 mana, this is 1 mana, this is really good with Vengevine, stuff like that. But the shell of, like, Cookbook, Asmo, Street Wraith to enable Asmo, plus the food stuff. Feasting Troll King, again, we didn't draw it very often, but when we did, it was disgusting. We turned 2'd it once, we put it into play against the red-green Pawns deck that could never beat it. Yeah, so Troll King was disgusting. I think there is something within this design space, or within this space, something here. And again, I will stand by my bold prediction that I believe this Asmo, the card itself, I don't know if it's this deck in particular, but I think this card will cause something from a particular iteration of this deck to be banned at one point within, I don't know what kind of timeline, but I would not be surprised if this got something banned, because the card is just completely ridiculous, and you should play it. So if you made it all the way to the end of the video, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.